Alright guys, welcome back. I'm so happy that you're here with me. As always, if you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so we can see each other back next video and every video. Also, please feel free to share in the comments. We all have valuable experiences that can help us grow and learn if we hear about those experiences from each other. So please don't be shy to share your opinions and your thoughts. So I wanted to chat a little bit today about stress. Now, I think the word stress can include many emotions. I think we stress over many things when we are anxious, when we're nervous, when we're worried, overwhelmed, uncomfortable, or scared. All these things, you can feel uneasy for many different reasons, and that source of uneasiness can come from many different things, either something that we're experiencing in the physical moment, or it can come from something that we're experiencing or perceiving that we're experiencing in our own mental headspace. So I don't want to get too much into the weeds today about what makes us stress or where that comes from. I want to talk more about what stress does to us. Specifically, what does it do to our brains? We know stress has a slew of physical impacts on our body, and we should definitely talk about that, and we'll talk about that in more detail another day. But in a nutshell, it has a lot of bad effects, which is why we should make mental health a priority. But again, let's leave that convo for another day. For today specifically, let's talk about our mind and what stress does to our brains. I'm sure that we are all familiar with the term cognitive impairment. And in simple terms, this just means that our brains aren't functioning at fullest capacity. Cognitive impairment can be mild, like maybe someone is just starting to be forgetful or have some difficulties concentrating, or it can be very severe, like what we see in things like advanced stages of dementia or Alzheimer's. So I think it's important for us to think of our brains just like any other organ in our body. And any other organ in our body can start losing functionality for a variety of different reasons. For example, over time, clogged arteries might make the heart weaker, or smoke inhalation impairs gas exchange ability of our lungs, or age itself slows down the filtration rate of our kidneys. Those are, obviously just a few examples, but every organ has a level of optimal functioning, and every organ's functionality can dwindle based on multiple internal and external factors, including things like our age, our genetics, how we take care of ourselves, illnesses or diseases. And, our organs will continue to work still, but impacted by these factors, they may just not work as well as they used to, or not work to their full capability. And the brain is no different than this. And this is what cognitive impairment describes. Yes, your brain is still working, it's just not functioning and working on full cylinders. So when we think about things like dementia and Alzheimer's, these are very sad disease processes which unfortunately are often irreversible and may even become progressive over time. But it is possible to experience temporary cognitive impairment. Maybe it's temporary because something happened that we can heal from, like maybe a situation where someone has a brain injury and then they recover from that brain injury. Or maybe it's just an episodic event during a period of mental overload. And this brings me to stress. I listened to a neuropsychologist speak at a conference once, and he said, stress is cognitive impairment. And I thought that that was a very profound statement. Not because it doesn't make sense, it does make sense when you think about it, but I don't think that we do a great job of looking at it through that lens. For an example of this, have you ever done something in a period of distraction that you later thought was so foolish or so silly? Like maybe you were rushing to get somewhere, trying to juggle 5 things at a time, and you're trying to get out of the house, and you're desperately looking for your keys, only to then realize your keys were in your hand the whole time, or maybe you had already put them in the door or the car. Or maybe instead of keys, it was your cell phone or your sunglasses. I don't know. Try to think back to a time like that where you realized like your sunglasses were on your head and you'd been desperately looking for them for 5 minutes and you thought, man, am I going completely insane? Or, have you ever been on autopilot driving somewhere and completely missed a turn because your mind was thinking of something else? And once you kind of pop back to reality, you think, geez, am I losing it today? Well, if you can relate to those examples or other examples you can think of, and you can relate to what I'm talking about, the answer is yes. In those moments, you were being a little insane and you did lose it temporarily. Because in those moments, you were distracted. Your brain was not focused on the task at hand. All of its energy was being devoted to whatever else you were obsessing about or running around trying to accomplish. And this is exactly how stress can consume our mind. In these moments when we are so stressed out, we are functioning on a cognitively impaired level. We don't process information and data the same way. We can't problem solve as effectively, and we can't think as clearly about our actions. In those moments, we are cloudy. And in those moments of cloudiness, we become less productive. We can't be efficient and effective in those moments of cognitive impairment. And we actually end up expelling a lot of energy, being stressed out about, what we're trying to get accomplished, but we actually get very little traction towards whatever it is we're trying to achieve. If we could calm our minds, remove that cognitive impairment factor, then we could allow our minds to function at their fullest capability. And we can focus our brain on the task at hand, let our brain operate on full cylinders, and we could actually accomplish things much more effectively. I think about my cat. When I talk about this, she tries to take off running full speed on my kitchen floor sometimes, and she's so cute because her paws slip on the hardwood floors, so it's like she's almost taking like 4 strides before she actually gets a grip and starts moving forward. She's literally spinning her wheels for a second or two, and that's exactly what we do when our minds are functioning in an impaired state. We feel like we're running around frantically doing all these things in a whirlwind, but in reality, we would be quicker and better if we allowed our minds to get that traction it needs, really channel its energy into what we are trying to accomplish. And remember, if your brain lives in a constant environment of stress, it becomes harder to pull yourself out of that environment. Just like we talked about in one of our other chats, I think of the brain as if it's a muscle. And you have to work to make it stronger. Allowing yourself to live in a perpetual state of stress does nothing but weaken it. You have to practice moving that stress aside, and we have to build up our strength to be able to do that consistently. So, next time you feel yourself getting worked up or stressed out, remember this. Learn how to nurture your brain out of that environment so you can actually work at full capacity without cognitive impairment towards whatever it is that you are trying to make happen in your life. And if you have some great examples about how you cope with stress, please feel free to share them in the comments. This is, certainly something that most of us struggle with and something that we all need to master to be living our best lives. So thanks again, guys, for stopping by. I hope to see you back next time, and hope you're having a great day. All right, we'll talk again soon. Bye.